Moments ago. Syniora, thank you so much for joining me. Let me ask you, are you calling for Mr. Mikati's government to resign? And if so, how do you answer your Western friends and even the president of Lebanon who say that would not be a good thing at the moment because that would plunge your country into further instability?
I think the contrary completely.
But are you calling for them to stay down? Are you calling for him to step down?
Yes.
Still?
For sure. Yes, I'm asking this government, for the sake of the country, at all actually, because our constitution really gives all the necessary, let's say, measures in order to handle this situation, whereby a caretaker government the present government will assume the caretaker government, and then there will be complete discussions and under the patronage of the president, so that to form a new government that is a neutral government, independent. Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Syniora, in that regard, as you know, people have pointed the finger of blame for this incident at the door of President Bashar Assad. Even the French foreign minister has said that while the investigation continues, it probably was that regime. He went on to say the interest of Bashar Assad, who is a manipulator, is to expand the contagion into Turkey, Jordan and Lebanon. The fact that you are now calling for the dissolution of the government, are you not playing into the very hands of Syria, which wants to see instability in your country, in Turkey and elsewhere?
Not at all. Actually, this government is in the hands of Syria and Iran at the same time. What we are saying is that it is the best thing that can really guarantee stability in the country is to have a neutral government. Otherwise, this is something that will lead the continuation of tension in the country, and this by itself will play more in the hands of Syria.
You talked about how the government is not neutral, that it's sending arms and materiel and other things to the regime of Bashar Assad. But also some of the Sunni opposition is also helping the other side, the rebels, the uprising. This policy of disassociation that Lebanon has had, do you think it can continue, or are you being sucked into this war now?
We are on record that we have asked so many times that the Lebanese army will deploy all along the Lebanese borders with Syria, and we are still committed to this principle, and even much more. We really asked, after all what has happened, because of all the let's say violations of the Lebanese border and the trespassing on it, and the Syrian regime army, who has really been in Lebanon several times, kidnapping people, killing people, and bombarding the Lebanese territory, is that we have asked for the UNIFIL forces under the Security Council Resolution 1701 to be extended towards the border of Lebanon with Syria.
Some analysts have suggested that Syria, the regime of Bashar Assad, is basically sending a message to you in Lebanon, to Prime Minister Erdogan in Turkey: stay out of this fight, leave it to me, don't get involved. In fact, President Assad last year said that this kind of intervention, whether it's on the ground or whether it's sending arms, etc., is something that is going to divide the whole region. He said any problem in Syria will burn the whole region. If the plan is to divide Syria, then it's to divide the whole region. In other words, my question to you is, do you think Assad is sending a message to Lebanon and to Turkey now that this conflict has spilled across both of your borders?
You see, throughout the past several decades, all dictators in the Arab world, they have been sending a clear message to everybody, to their people as well as to the international community, that either you let me stay in office and do whatever I want, or the other alternative is chaos or destruction. And this is what they have practiced. And as far as Lebanon is concerned, the same thing was done by the Syrian regime throughout the past decades. And they are still continuing with their intimidation and threats to the international community, so that they will try to be more lenient with the regime, and to forego even the principles, which is the principles that calling for respect of human rights, respect of democracy, of freedom, and so on. This is what they have been trying to do. What we are really asking from the international community is that we want them to continue to be faithful to their principles and to the values which they have been trying to raise throughout the past, let's say, centuries. So this is what we really believe, that the regime in Syria would try its best in order to create a sedition within Syria and outside Syria, and try to create a situation of instabilities everywhere. So this intimidation and threat to the international community will continue, and will subject the international community to its threats irrespective.
So what do you see in this scenario for the immediate future for Lebanon and for Syria?
As far as Lebanon is concerned, what we believe is that we want to achieve real stability, not a fictitious one. We want a change in the government, because all the indicators, I am really talking, Christian, on all indicators, whether they are economic, social, whether security, whether in terms of national unity and so on, this government has failed. It is practically dead in the real sense of the word. And in order to guarantee its stability, the best thing is to have a neutral government. We have been asking and suggesting to everybody that this is the best solution in order to save Lebanon from instabilities and from any attempt of the Syrian regime to create a sedition. On the other hand, as far as Syria is concerned, we believe that the Syrian people are the ones who can really know what is best for them. And we don't want to interfere in the domestic affairs of Syria, irrespective. This is our position. This does not mean that we cannot express our opinion freely. This is a free country, and this is a democracy, and we have to respect these rules. But we do not want to interfere in the domestic affairs of Syria, irrespective. They know what is best for them, and we don't want to really put ourselves in such a situation.
Finally, you speak quite vociferously against them. You've seen what's happened in your country and you blame them for it. Are you not afraid for your own life?
Well, definitely, the risks are high. But let me put it this way. I am a believer. And I know that irrespective of all the precautions that one can take, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
Mr. Seniora, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you very much. Thank you.